Hey guys, welcome back to Brick System Brothers. A very strange assortment of Lego pieces today to look at. This is a Bricklink order that I placed in 2020, and a couple of interesting things to talk about. I ended up buying a lot of this because they weren't necessarily cheap, but they were well priced for what it is. So some different minifigs in here, some torsos, and then a lot of random parts. Josh doesn't really understand why I buy these, and to be honest, I don't fully understand either, but certain colors are just attractive to me, and pursuing those, completing color collections, that kind of thing, has become a bigger part of my hobby than it was. So I did want to go over some of the prices, but there are 4 pieces in this order that are not on the table right now, and I'm going to be showing those towards the end of the video. So I guess you can skip ahead if you want, but if you're interested in prices, stick around. We'll start talking about those. I guess I could go from most expensive down. So most expensive is the Ash minifigure, and I got this for $7. It was in an Ninjago minifig pack, and I think it's a Elemental Master minifig. It included the bluish gray mask element and the sand blue hair. So not only the minifigure, but also some of the other things that you wouldn't necessarily have if you were just pursuing the minifig. So like the alternate hairpiece and his wind thingies. I'm not sure what those are. Pretty cool nonetheless. So $7 for all this. As a minifig collector, it's something I'm willing to spend more than $5 on a single minifig. Even some of our collectible minifigs from the little foil packs these days, I hesitate to spend $5 on those, but I guess also considering that being a retired set that you can't buy on shelves anymore new, price is probably only going to go up. Where I do draw the line is somewhere between a $7 Ash minifig and a $35 Akita minifig, which I talked about late last year. Ended up just buying the entire set. Lucy, or Wild Style, from this is the Lego Movie 2. Once her hair has been uncolored, $2.75 for this minifig. She does have the alternate face there, as well as the hood element that's kind of down. So I've kind of been looking for a Lucy on and off. I do have a couple of the original Lego Movie sets with the Emmett. I probably have a Lucy laying around somewhere, but I like the updated Lucy from the Lego Movie 2. The book was $1.25, and you might be asking what's so special about a red book. There were a couple of printed red books, but an unprinted red book is maybe worth a little bit more. According to Rebrickable, this is an $8 piece. Rebrickable is known to be a little bit high in their values, but I think that was still a good deal for that book. Something that I could maybe tuck away in my modular bookshop. Not necessarily going in the order of price anymore, but we'll look at the other minifig pieces. Just the torsos. Sometimes people don't think about the disassembled minifigs. They're in a different section of people's stores on Bricklink. But I want to be thorough most of the time when I'm looking through. So I did go and pick up some torsos. The MBA, not NBA, MBA, Master Builder Academy torsos here. 1 or 2 and 3. So 3 and 2 are the orange and yellow ones. These were 25 cents a piece, so a quarter for those. I actually saw one of these torsos at Bricks and Minifigs recently, and they were asking $2 per torso, but that's just, their standard price. So I'm not going to pay that for just any old torso. I probably would pay more than $1 for these, but at a quarter, I'm not going to turn that down. And the other one here is the Castle Sand Green Princess torso, was also a quarter. In fact, I think most of the torsos in this Bricklink store were priced at 25 cents. Not bad for most printed torsos. Some of the common ones maybe you wouldn't want to spend that much money on. Alright, the interesting little printed shield here. Just a piece I hadn't seen and felt like maybe I should get. $1 for that. probably closer to, you know, not the same good of a deal as the torsos at a quarter a piece, but a nice printed shield. It's printed, so it's not a sticker there. This brick right here in the middle is what's known as medium green. So the color of most of the apples is bright green. It's not that. It's not teal. I should have got some to compare, but a medium green 1x4 brick was only in a couple of sets. The color itself hasn't been seen for quite a long time. So this was 40 cents. Just, you know, to get some more color on my collections. If they had a 1x2, 2x2, or 2x4 one of these, I would have bought that first. But those are much harder to find in that color. A little Ninjago banner here. I don't remember the price on that. I wrote most of this down to reference. Alright, the pink cups. Cups is another thing I collect in a lot of different colors. So the pink ones were released, and these are 20 cents a piece from this store. Probably could get a little more than that if I was reselling, but I don't have any in this color. This is what I call Paradisa pink, so it's a slightly lighter shade of pink than we see in most sets today. This color, I ended up getting these 3 different pieces in various quantities. Let me get these separated here. This is transparent medium blue, and this fluoresces under a black light, so that's kind of cool, along with some of our other transparent colors. I got a gem, the 2x2 boat skid, and the old style flower in this color. The flower I think I got because I want to explore the use of this piece outside of what it's designed to be, so I want to explore maybe using this as the exhaust flame in a jet engine somehow. It just kind of has that circular pattern and the 1x1 round stud going back. So I actually got 4 of those, kind of spread out here. The 2x2 boat skid, something I like to collect in transparent colors. Neon orange is another one that I like to find those in. And then the gemstone itself was released, but it's not very common. Did I write down the pricing here? I paid $1 for this jewel. I think it's worth more than that on the secondary market, but hard to say. The other thing with these pieces is just because they're harder to find and more rare doesn't mean they're worth more, because their value is closely tied to demand. So it's not just a question of how many are out there, it's a question of how many people actually want to buy it. And that may be something that's also we're talking about when looking at these Scala or Scala bottles. So I bought a yellow one for $1.25. It does connect to a stud. This is a regular stud connection, but the bottle itself specifically designed for the scale of those sets back in like 97, 98. Much larger figures. It was like half the size of a Barbie, and it just had different scale furniture. Scala was actually what introduced a lot of the food elements, including these white crescents. The white crescents I got in case I need to replace something on my Parisian restaurant, or I just want to use those. I think they hold their value pretty good, so I picked them up while they were here at a quarter or 20 cents a piece. And the flower element again, but this time in medium blue, so that one's fun. The yellow hard hat was 30 cents. Don't have any of those, so now I have one. The Mop Head is a nice piece from Collectible Minifig line. Don't necessarily need the janitor fig that had the mop, but I do like the Mop Head piece. And then the 2x2 printed round tile with the target on there. Something very close to what we see, possibly the same print in the Medieval Blacksmith Ideas number 33 that was revealed earlier this year. So just a simple printed 2x2 target there. Did I have the price written down for that? I didn't write the price down. It was probably 50 cents or less. Like I said, very reasonable pricing in the store. It's also a matter of what pieces are you looking for to build your Lego collection. For me, I like to go after some of the more obscure stuff. and really have a well-rounded collection and not just volume. Now, don't get me wrong, volume is great, and for certain pieces like maybe bricks and especially detailed bricks like the masonry brick, you want to have a bunch of those because when you have multiple copies of pieces like that, you can do some cool stuff with patterns. But from my point of view, collecting Lego is also about some of the more obscure niche items that maybe not a lot of people have or remember or even know about. So some of that stuff in this Bricklink haul. Alright, let's bring in the actual goods that are a little more fun. Now what these 4 pieces have in common that sets them apart from everything else I bought is these are Q parts. And Q parts, I'm not sure what the term comes from, but basically it means a standard Lego part, so the 2x2 brick, very well-known piece, but the specific color has not been seen in an officially released Lego set. So there's plenty of possible Q parts, but in terms of what's actually out there to be found and bought is much less than, the combination of what could be a Q part. So some of these are pretty well known. Other ones just sometimes turn up out of the blue. It's something I talked about in more depth in my rare Lego video that's like an hour long. The Q parts that I bought at this store, just helping mainly to fill in my color collections, and also the green cup. So how much did I pay for these? The green cup was $3, so has not been released yet in any known set in this color. Just kind of turns up. It's kind of an open question on where these pieces come from. Can I get this in focus to see the logo? It's on there, I assure you. Whoops. I don't think I have the lighting at the right angle to see it. But like I was saying, a question of where some of this stuff comes from, but it's out just the same. So the green cup was $3. The transparent light blue 2x2 brick was $1. Was it? No, $1.25. This is the $1 piece. This is a regular transparent orange, 1x2. And the 2x2 neon green brick was $5. So, $5 for a little 2x2 brick is... How badly do you actually want that? You have to be willing to pay a little more for this stuff. It's kind of, again, looking at how many people want to buy this, even though it's out there, definitely much less of these to be found compared to released Lego. But prices, I would consider prices reasonable just for, thinking about what it is. So, the neon green is the other color that glows under a black light, like the medium neon blue. These don't glow, but the orange one, I think, is what started this cart from the store. I don't know if you guys shop on Bricklink, but how this usually happens for me is, alright, I'm looking for 1 or 2 specific pieces. I add those to a wanted list, and then I start looking through stores for stuff in my wanted list. And so, you find the store that actually has this stuff, and then while you're there, you figure, I'll see what else they got, and 1 to 2 pieces turns into this pretty quickly. I try to cap it, have a price cap before I start adding pieces. So, at a certain dollar point, say $30, I'm going to cap the order. And that helps keep things in control, just in terms of a store that might have a ton of cool stuff that you want to buy, but by the time you've added everything to the cart, it's going to be a $100 order, and you're only getting 50 pieces. Might want to reconsider some of those. So the 1x2 plain transparent orange will now complete this color for my 1x2 transparent bricks. And these are just regular colors, so that goes right in between regular yellow and neon orange. Still looking for a 2x2 in neon orange. It's going to probably cost a little more. There's two more spaces on here, but that's just because this is a 2x16 plate. And these 2x2 bricks, I also have a similar deal going on where I'm trying to get a lot of different colors, but more so just getting these because they were there. I wanted to do a comparison of the 2x2 brick to plain yellow because sometimes it's hard to tell. I do have them right next to each other on this color scale. So here's plain yellow and here's neon green. It can be hard to tell them apart sometimes, so I brought this up as well. These two are just regular pieces from my collection. I'm going to put the neon green here, and now you can tell a little bit better, especially when I have it out of the light like so. It's a distinct color, but let's have some fun with the black light. So the fun thing you can do with the neon colors and a black light is kind of see the difference here in the plastic. The neon colors fluoresce, and what that means is they are receiving energy in the ultraviolet, and then there's a chemical reaction taking place within the plastic that gives off a small amount of light in the visible range. And some of the Lego colors that do that are neon green, which is what I have the 2x2 brick, and it's also right here. In fact, this one is fluorescing so much it's actually going into the next color over. Neon orange does it really well. It's one of the best fluorescers, neon orange is one of the accent colors in Monkey Kid theme, which I'm very happy to see. We're getting a couple new parts in neon orange in the past couple years. And the one that I didn't know about until maybe a couple years ago is the medium blue. Also fluoresces, and some of the other flower pieces that I got in this haul are the medium blue color. So just a really fun effect if you have a black light. And when you put them on a color scale, or you use it as an accent color in a build, and once you start figuring out how to use these colors and accent your builds well, and then display that with a black light, it can look pretty sweet. So I do want to look into more of using these colors specifically for blacklight displays and making full use of the properties of these pieces. It's just a lot of fun to have this little extra detail. Practically glow-in-the-dark plastic, but like even better. So kind of a haul video, kind of a color demonstration video with color scale and the black light. It's fun to see all that stuff. The medium green color is, it's kind of a shame that there's so few pieces released in medium green, because it would make a fun, again, just talking about accents and adding little details to Lego builds and projects. But it's kind of an uncommon color. There's so few pieces that are available that it's not really practical. And to even do anything with the pieces that are available, like the 1x4 brick, you almost need to buy a bunch of them, even to just have it as maybe a storefront or a building, and then kind of use other colors as the accent, and try to build kind of a background with those. So at this point for me, just kind of getting the piece to have as part of my color scales. I've also been working on my 2x4 brick color scales, color collection, and that's been going pretty well, so I do want to talk about that coming up here on the channel in the future. Maybe just keep an eye out for that. I've done that once before, but I've actually added quite a few colors since that video, and I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like to buy this kind of stuff, just in terms of what is in your Lego collection, or would you rather have new 2021, what is fresh off of the Lego printing press, and not really caring about the older stuff? Because everyone's different. Everyone that collects Lego has slightly different interests and pursuits. So this gets into the subjective nature of Lego collecting, what kind of pieces people find valuable and desirable. I don't think Josh is quite in the same camp as me with some of these queue parts and unreleased stuff, and just getting colors for the sake of colors. But that's okay, because that's not what Lego is about. Lego is about what you want to build and what you want to collect, and not everyone has to have the same collection. So, something that people talk about with fear of missing out or FOMO is you're not going to get this, or you're not going to get to build this thing. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to have that, or you don't really want to build it, but someone is telling you you should, you maybe think a little bit about, what does the hobby mean to you? Is it any fun still? Because if it's not any fun, then what's the point of making a hobby so important? And Lego's still fun for me, and I hope it stays fun, because that would just kind of be sad if it turned into something where I had to buy the latest set and I had to buy every color. I don't feel like I have to buy this stuff, although I do enjoy having a variety of pieces, as I talked about today. So thanks for watching, guys. A little bit different discussion and topics on Brick System Brothers, but it's cool. It's Lego. It's fun.